want to welcome everybody to the 5th Annual Academic Center for Entrepreneurship Awards Ceremony. I've been here 4 years, and I've been here for 4 of the award ceremonies, and everyone seems to get a little bit better, but I thank you all for coming. The workshop, I think, was a tremendous success, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But again, I thank you all for being here. I enjoy doing this. My name is Bill Berardi, and I'm the director for the Academic Center for Entrepreneurship. But the one person I want to thank most of all is Jeannie Gerard. And Jeannie is over here to the right. She is the one that puts this together, and her hard work and dedication is evident in what you see here, and the work that she does putting this together year long is I appreciate very much, and Jeannie, thank you. I do have a few other thank yous that I'd like to make, so bear with me for just a minute, but I want to thank Laura Carlson and all of the facilities staff for their help in setting up this area and setting up the faculty lounge where the workshop was. I want to thank our food and drink sponsor companies who are represented here tonight, without whose generosity this event would not be successful. Those companies are Pepsi, Not Your Average Joe's, the Back Eddy Restaurant of Westport, Nani's Pasta, Blount Seafood, Coastal Roasters of Triverton, Rhode Island, and Boston Beer Company, brewers of Sam Adams Beer. Thank you to BCC Chef Caressimo and Chef Cabral for all your efforts, and to your students who are here assisting us tonight. And thank you to Lisa Riley, who is the CEO and founder of Real Entrepreneurs, Inc., who was instrumental in pulling together the business panel workshop and bringing a dynamic array of entrepreneurs to the campus for this event. We also want to thank Paul Lieberman and the UPS stores for their assistance in putting together the workshop panel, which consisted of Candace Lee Cabe, CEO and founder of Day to Night Convertible Heels, Joe Perry of IBM USA, East Regional and Canada Regional Innovation Center Manager. Joe, you got to cut your title down a little bit. Ari Tabi, and Ari, if I mispronounce your name, I apologize, president and founder of Mini Pops. Michael Morrissey, co-founder of Mud Rock. Trevor Nelson and Brian Whittemore, co-founders of Pure Pest Management. Coulter and Christy Lewis of Quinn Popcorn. Beth Gallo, Mad Hectic Oatmeal, and winner of the 2010 Developing Entrepreneur ACE Award. Thank you to all of our volunteers, whose numerous people, for your assistance, and please understand, without your help, we would have a difficult time in pulling this all together. Dr. Mike Vieira, Associate Vice President, whose vision, he's up here in the back, his vision was ACE, and what you see here. Melinda Ailes, Director of the Massachusetts Small Business Development Center. Melinda. Carmen Aguiar, who's the Dean of the Workforce Development Center. Carmen. Here's Carmen. Terry Romanovich, Dean of our New Bedford campus. There's Terry in the back. Thank you for all of your help and assistance in everything that you have done. I want to introduce our next speaker, and I've been here, as I said earlier, for 4.5 years. In that time, I have met with and seen our next speaker many times, and I can honestly say that it has been a rare occurrence when he has not had a smile on his face. That tells me that he thoroughly enjoys what he does, and I know that to be true. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our president, Dr. Jack Sprague.
Well, thank you for that gracious introduction, Bill, and welcome everyone. Some of you may be your first time here at Bristol Community College. Others, we're going to charge rent. They're here so often. But this is wonderful. It's a great event. I must tell you a couple of stories. One has to do with this pond. On April 1st, April Fool's Day, I was on a business accreditation visit near Hartford, and I was checking my emails, and I saw a bulletin from the college communications office that 500 sharks had just been introduced to our pond, and I looked and I said, oh, so I was on the phone. I almost said apoplexy and April Fool. Okay, so I can't look at that pond without wondering if the music will take place. The other story I wanted to tell you was the treasurer of the Commonwealth, Stephen Grossman, came for a visit. I provided an invitation to him to come visit Bristol Community College, as I do with many people. He came, and the first thing that he asked about was the ACE, was the Center for Entrepreneurship. He knew about it. This is the treasurer of the Commonwealth. He's got plenty on his mind, but he knew about our BCC ACE program. He said it was the wave of the future, and when I agreed with him, of course, and it is, and I welcomed him to the future as we spoke. And it wasn't just a one-time thing. When he visited Bristol, he spoke about it often, and I've heard him speak about it in other audiences and other areas of the Commonwealth. So, Bill and Jean, it's a very, very proud to be associated with you two and to be famous, for you two to be so famous. But to have that attention, and the reason that is another message that I wanted to leave with you very briefly. We have a good night tonight, and the reason is that he is so excited about it because he sees entrepreneurship as the key to the future of Massachusetts and for that matter the national economy. We've been struggling, which is no surprise to people, for a long time now, many years, and entrepreneurship, the keys are right with you and people like you who have that idea and the genius, if you will, and the ideas that come up, how to implement it, how to move it from the attic or the garage or the basement into what? General Motors or something, and so those ideas, please stay with them, spread the word that BCC is certainly glad to promote entrepreneurship. We've had to do a lot of it ourselves in struggling with this economy and nosediving state appropriations at the same time that enrollment is growing. So I wish you well. I welcome you. I wanted to acknowledge David Dennis, the City Councilor, David Dennis here. Thank you very much for coming. Bill, I just about went through a lot of people here, and there are many more that should be introduced. I apologize for not taking the time to do everybody because we're all in this together. It's a great event. I hope it's beyond one day. You make it part of your life, make BCC part of your life in terms of integrating entrepreneurship into your daily activities and allowing us to help. Bill introduced a number of people that are available to help you, and not necessarily at BCC, but all of us joined together. We're all for the common good, which is what? The development of the community, the development of Massachusetts, and development of the country. And you have the ideas that will help make that grow. So thank you very much, Bill. I appreciate all that you've done in your leadership. And Jeannie, thank you for your leadership. And let's go on with a terrific night. Thank you. Good night.
I want to introduce the guest speaker next, Jeannie. Yeah. My boss told me what I had to do next. John O'Rourke is currently the president of LTS Sports and a managing partner of Remy's Management Group, RMG. RMG is the company that owns the Jerry Remy Sports Bar and Grill Restaurant Group. In 2002, before partnering with his best friend Jerry Remy in the creation of LTS Sports and the Remy Report, John spent over 20 years in the athletic footwear and apparel industry. He has held several senior management positions, including GM of Polo Sport Footwear, President of Puma USA, President of Pony USA, and Executive Vice President of Adidas USA. All these presidentships, John, and you decided to take a position with Jerry Remy where you have to do all of the work yourself. It is with pleasure that I introduce to you our keynote speaker, Mr. John O'Rourke.
I'm not sure what that is in the lower right-hand corner. I have nothing to do with it, so I apologize. Just as a matter of briefly who you're talking to, as was mentioned, for years I was in the athletic footwear industry. We'll get into that in a while, but I moved to Weston about 25 years ago, and Jerry was my neighbor. And so the Ys became friends, we became friends. I had a background in sports marketing. He was what he was, and so one thing led to another. And so 10 years ago we started a company and it ended up where it is, and so that's how I got to be where I'm at today. And the reason why I was the president of this company is, you're right, Jerry does nothing, which is a good thing. And I wanted to explain exactly how I fit. You're all familiar with the shark, and you see those little fish swimming around called remoras. Well, that's Jerry, is that, and that's me. I'm a little guy under there. He does all the work. I just eat the crumbs, and I don't do any work, and I just pick it up and mooch off him. So it's a fabulous deal. My career path getting to that is my first place I was at Gillette, and at Gillette I did the dry idea roll-on, and I was responsible for introducing that, which I think is still on the market. From there I went to Converse, where I was vice president of marketing for 3 or 4 years. Continued on a good path there. I went to Adidas USA, where I was executive vice president, and we had about $400 million worth of footwear and about $300 million worth of apparel. Another stellar performance. Pony USA, was there for quite a while. Another footwear company, no big deal. Polo Sport, and finally Beacon Consulting, which was the first non-footwear thing. I had so many golden parachutes, I had no place else to go in the footwear industry. And so I was in Beacon Consulting. And what Beacon Consulting did was similar to some of the things we heard in that panel, is I helped high-tech companies develop an elevator pitch or a strategic mission statement, so that if they were one of 9 companies doing something, why should a customer go to this particular one? It's not easily to identify that. Some people do it just naturally by mistake, others, but you have to work at it. Why should I go to you instead of somebody else? So that's what I helped some of those companies with. My wife, having been fired from all those positions, something had to be done, so she would put the foot down. So more or less what it started is Jerry and I were friends since 1984. Jerry had the winters off. I had the whole year off most of the time. He was a recognized sports figure. I knew sports marketing. So this was a perfect opportunity for me to mooch off Jerry, which I figured. Again, I'm not sure what that is. But I had an idea, and so I bounced it off Jerry. That was back in 2002, and we put $300 each into it, and because I needed the $600 to start a website. So it was $600 was our initial investment, not a penny more than that. We had limited technical knowledge, and what knowledge we had was Mayan. He had none, so it was very limited. We weren't sure if the concept was going to work. He was convinced that it would not work, as a matter of fact. Neither of us had any retail experience online. We never sold a thing on a website in our lives. No restaurant experience at all, and didn't even know how to spell restaurant either, to tell you the truth. We didn't know what we didn't know. And it's not advancing. Okay. And, well, I'll speak from here then. Can you hear me back there? Okay. And so we started with the REM report. And with the REM report,
Grab the mic.
I will grab the mic.
So you can walk
Okay.
around.
And what we did back then is I suggested to Jerry that we sell scorecards on the REM report. The scorecards was something he did every game anyways, and it had Nesson on the top of it. But since Jerry is not an employee of Nesson, he's a consultant more or less, he can have his own scorecards. He doesn't have to use it. So we created a REM report scorecard that he would just do like he did on the Nesson scorecard. And I said, let's sell it to people so they can have a memento if they go to that game. So if it's the first time you bring your son, you can order a Jerry Remy autographed scorecard. Scorecard costs us 82 cents. We sell it for $20 plus $5 shipping and handling. So it's a very good profit margin. And we, when they won the 2004 World Series, I could stack scorecards flat from here to the ceiling, because it was crazy the way that it went. And so as we evolved, the whole idea was to present Jerry as, he's a regular guy doing the stuff from his kitchen, So one day I took a picture of him signing a scorecard. And it dawned on me that's the picture we were going to put up on the web. But I just changed it and threw a logo. I took the logo off on Photoshop, and I just created a logo. We weren't selling anything, but I just put that on the website. The next day we had 143 requests for a Rem Dog t-shirt. And so that night we were selling Rem Dog t-shirts. So I didn't know where I was going to get them, how to go about it, but we started selling them that night. And in a week we figured out where to get the t-shirts. So we started selling Rem Dog t-shirts. Then it went to Rem Dog caps, this, that, and the other thing. I don't think there's another sportscaster in the country that has that type of cult appeal. I mean, you buy athletes' jerseys, but who buys an announcer's jerseys? Nobody. So they buy Rem Dog jerseys. And a few months later, it was at Christmas time, that's my basement, and that's Jerry. He was aggravated at the time because we couldn't keep up with the t-shirts we had to ship, so our two wives and ourselves were shipping out of basements, trying to keep up with it. Caught us by surprise. We eventually got a little warehouse, but that's how it went with the scorecards and the t-shirts. Then, of course, Wally came on the scene, and we sell Wally in his chair, and they sell every day, all day, which is a crazy little thing. If you watch the Red Sox game, you see Wally sitting on the chair in front of him. So it's sort of a crazy thing that the way it started. It got to the point that the post office, we were bombing them with stuff, so they were coming to the little warehouse we had, loading the truck to try to divert the local Western post office to bring it to the major post office because we were putting so much stuff through the post office. So our wives were buying pocketbooks at the time, And then one day, that evolved into, I had developed a relationship with the Red Sox by this point in time. So I had meetings in the building. And so one day before a meeting, I was early, I was having a hot dog on Yawkey Way. And I noticed El Tiantes, if you've been to a game. And I said, well, why not Rem Dogs hot dogs? It makes sense. So that day, we had a verbal agreement that the Red Sox were going to put a Rem Dogs Yawkey Way on Yawkey Way. And that was here for about 3 years. We were selling hot dogs and Charisse because of his wife's background here, and all that. We had sandwiches named after his mother and his father, and I even have a sandwich named after me. You know you're important when you have a sandwich named after you. So from that, the guy that runs Massport ate at Rem Dog's Yawkey Way, and he called us and asked us, would we put a Rem Dog at Terminal C over at Fenway? Usually you have to seduce Massport. They came to us, which was rather unique. But Jerry and I, as I say, we didn't know how to spell restaurant, let alone run one. So we needed to find someone who knew how to do restaurants. So we remember Darren Lewis used to play center field for the Red Sox? He had a company that specializes in airport restaurants. So through him, we partnered with him, we gave him a percentage, and we opened Rem Dogs at Terminal C. That led to what we really wanted to do was a street restaurant near Fenway Park. So with some of the same business partners, we opened Jerry Remy's at Fenway Park. It's about 8,000 square feet. I'm glad to say it has exceeded our expectations, by a mile, which has been fabulous. If the Red Sox could win a game or two, it would really help, This year, that's the top of, you can see Remy's below, that's the roof deck. We just added that roof deck. It opened with the first home game of the year. And so we have a capacity downstairs of about 330, and there's about 200 capacity on the roof deck. If no one jumps off the roof deck, the city is going to give us another 100 for next year. So we'll be at 300 capacity next year on the sidewalk. So during a game, we have counting outside, about 700 people that eat at the restaurant, and if you go there, the line is all the way down the street. So it's a crazy phenomenon, and it's Jerry. I mean, it's really that. The next year, which is last year in March, where Jimmy's Harbor side used to be, that footprint they're not there anymore. We put Jerry Remy's seaport there, and miraculously, that does about 25% more volume than Fenway Park does, which is it's packed all day with suits from all the surrounding insurance companies and things like that. So that really has caught us off guard. Of course, for $80 a square foot rent, you'd expect you'd get some business out of it, And of course, in 2012, we're coming here to Fall River. And that's the preliminary drawing. It's right down on Duval Street, where Commonwealth Landing is. We first said May 1st. I'm not sure how many of you follow. We have about 4,000 people on Facebook from Fall River following this. But we first said May 1st. I did. Then I was wrong. It was June 1st. And I'm wrong again. It's October 1st. But I'm pretty sure it'll be around October 1st, because it took us a long time to work our way through the city with some issues and this, that, and the other thing. But we're looking forward to that, because it's one place that Jerry wanted to come from the very first time we did a restaurant. He wanted to go to Fall River. I don't know anything about the area, and I said, what the hell you want to go to Fall River for? He said, so to one thing, let's do that. We did a lot of research, and the reception has been great, both by the city officials as well as the population. So we're very optimistic that it'll be our first venture really outside of the Boston area. So we'll see. So as we look at 2013, with the addition of Remy's, we will have about 310 employees and about $20 million in sales. Now, if I'm in the audience looking at $20 million and you're saying these guys are raking it in, well, it's not exactly that way. What we do get, Jerry and I, is we charge each of the restaurants a licensing fee. So even though we own the majority of the restaurant, the company that Jerry and I have at LTS West, we charge the restaurants to use the name. So we get a percentage of the sales off the top, but we haven't received anything off the bottom yet, because we're paying off investors. And so we heard about the investors in that room. We had to raise about $5 million to open the one in Boston. And so and to get investors, we said, if you invest, you'll get a percentage, but we'll pay you back with 90% of our cash flow. We'll give it to you after expenses until you are paid off. And so until they're all paid off, Jerry and I, we don't get anything until they're paid off. So that'll take a few years out there. So right now it's slim pickings, but hopefully in the future it gets much better. And if you had told me that, 3-4 years ago, that we'd have restaurants doing that type of volume, I would have said you were crazy. I mean, I had no concept of it whatsoever, and neither did Jerry. We were doing scorecards, So looking back, I listened to all the entrepreneurs, and which I'm impressed by every one of them, because, you use the idea of an entrepreneur as a warrior, someone fighting, struggling, sticking with it, making it happen. That wasn't us at all. Jerry was doing okay with the Red Sox. I had all those golden parachutes, so I was happy more or less. And so since we weren't financially challenged, there's really no fear of failing in a sense. We'll try the concept if it worked. All we really wanted to do is make, $20,000, $30,000 a year and pay for vacations. And that was the goal, so to have some fun. We never imagined that it would do what it did at that time. So were we talented entrepreneurs? No, not even in the slightest. I was used to corporate America, and I'm impressed, and I envy every one of those guys who are in that room, because that's a lot of work doing everything by yourself like that, and I didn't have that. Were we lucky? Absolutely. We, as I say, we didn't even know what we didn't know. And if I look back at that now, I'm not sure we would have done some of it. But you morph. You adjust and you go as as things come up, and that's what happens. So as I look back at it, as I looked into this, I knew you had to be something to start your own business. Did I have those things? I was very good looking, as you can tell by the brochure, so I knew I had that in the bag. I was excellent at getting fired, so I figured an entrepreneur would be a good thing to do too. So I was a good looking person, always getting fired. Impatient. I have no patience whatsoever. I don't sleep. I don't relax. Type A personality to the max, you know. Bad at taking orders. I guess, I mean, in the present for a long time, it's hard listening to somebody else, even when they're right, which is my wife all the time. Never wrong, you know, world's foremost authority on everything. But that brings up sort of a joke that I heard about, you know, people unable to take orders. And you can tell an entrepreneur when they're very young. It was this little guy, goes to his grandfather, who was an aging entrepreneur. And he said, "Grandpa, I've been a very good boy today. Could I have $50? And the old entrepreneur said to him, "Well, you know, buddy, I mean, if you'd asked for $1, you'd have a much better business model." And the little kid said, $50, $1. Don't tell me how to run my business. So you know that guy's going to be an entrepreneur, right? So I had all those qualifications to be a good entrepreneur. And really, I had any. I had no clue what it was like to be an entrepreneur. Never had any experience doing it, yet we jumped into it. But we did have a unique selling point, and that obviously was Jerry. There's only one of him, so all we had to do was wrap him effectively around a restaurant. People will come once, you know, because of that, but they won't come back again if you don't deliver on something. So what we're about is we don't, our whole marketing strategy is not about the food. We want the food stands on its own, but you know, you expect to get good food. We're all about the AV system. So if people walk into Remy's for the first time, if they look at and they don't go, "Wow, we didn't do a good job." And so when we were building it, what I said was, if you have to eliminate the men's rooms and the ladies' rooms, eliminate them. But make sure the AV system is the best one in Boston. Because if we don't, that's our unique selling point, is that AV system. So it's worked out very well. The one you're going to see in Fall River, I don't know how many of you have been to the Boston one, but the one in Fall River is monumental. I mean, the ceilings are 40 feet high at one end, and there's 3 screens almost as big as a movie theater, you know, that'll be inside there. So it's a very impressive system in Fall River, the best one we've had so far. So sustainability, you know, how do we keep it going? I was listening in there, and they were talking about, sort of took my thunder away a bit, but it just goes to show you how important this is. If you're opening your own business and you don't have a unique selling point, you have a very difficult challenge. You need to be different than the guy next to you. There are 2,300 restaurants in Boston. Many of them right next to Fenway Park. 80% of them go out the first year. One right across the street from us had a new restaurant in there, 3 new restaurants since we've been open in 2 years in that location. Because they're just a restaurant, and there are many of those to go to. So whether you're doing pest control or whatever I listen to in there, if you're not different than the competition, I would say wait until you figure out how you can be different. Because if you don't figure that out, you have a challenge. And that statement is what sets you apart. They spoke about elevator pitch. Well, coincidentally, I have it here as well. So it goes to show you how important that is. And if you didn't pick it up at there, if you're an entrepreneur and you're on that elevator and you're going from the 5th floor to the 6th floor with a potential customer, and they're going to get off that next floor in 30 seconds, you've only got 30 seconds to convince them why they should buy from you. If you can't deliver that message that quickly and that succinctly, then you don't know the business you're in. And it's not easy to do that. And that's, as I say, when I was a consultant, that's what we tried to do. You come to me because A, B, C, D. Bing. Nobody else does that. And so if the only thing you got going for you is you have the cleanest restrooms in the industry, figure out a way why that's important to the customer. If you got the cleanest restrooms, your attention to detail is great. If your attention to detail is great, then figure out what it is that makes you different and bang the hell out of it, because that's why they come back to you. As you see, I got fired from all those positions, but I'm still hanging on here. I'm still hanging on. It's been a few years. I think I'm okay with Jerry, so we'll keep see how it goes. And I wanted to play this here because I was impressed by this video. It's 3 minutes long, and after this, I'm just about done. So if your heads are about to go, you're almost at the end. But this sort of captures all the things that really Jerry and I were not, that everybody in that room was, in my opinion. So it's 2.5 minutes long. Clearly, I got by without that. It pauses for a minute, but it's not quite over yet. So. That's it. So at this point, if you have any questions, I'd like to take them. I brought 6 autographed World Series Game 7 scorecards for anyone who wants to ask a question, because I figured no one would. So if you want to ask a question, if you want to ask a question, now would be a good time. Yes. The food at Fenway, when we first opened, it was terrible. Terrible. It took us a while. I mean, the kitchen wasn't ready, but now we're getting very good ratings at Fenway. We struggled a little over at Seaport. You didn't expect this answer, did you? We struggled a little over at Seaport because it was so crowded every single day that we never had a chance to get our feet under us. But it's mostly under control now. I would have to say Fenway is slightly better at this point, but Seaport is coming quickly as well. So it's been very good. Yes, ma'am. The thing at Fenway Park was a deal where we let the Red Sox use Jerry's name, and they paid us a percentage to have Rem dogs out there. So we didn't do anything except collect a check every month, unlike the restaurants. So we are managing partners. Everything is approved through us, but we don't know how to make toast. Jerry and I. So that's a problem. So what we did is we gave a pretty good percentage of the business to partners who knew the restaurant business. It's good to know what you don't know, because as I get into it, what I know less than I thought I knew, and I didn't think I knew much. I mean, it's just overwhelming, like any other industry. When you get into it, the inventory control, controlling the flow of the beer and the sandwich and what goes into this and that, it's technical, like everything else. It's crazy. So we have partners who do it. Yes.
What kind of menu are you going to have here in Fall River?
Similar to the one in Boston, except we will have, at the one at Seaport, there's more seafood there than the one in Boston. Here, we'll have more dishes appropriate to the area, and we're trying to get that information now. And I'm sure there'll be Sharish and something. Yes, sir.
It's fair to say that you failed your way to success, right? So there must have been some lessons that you took from your failure that helped you to be successful now.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I didn't get fired from every job I had. I think I didn't get who I did. But most of the, the corporate America was good. I liked it. I did well there. But I was 50 years old, and it was a very competitive, it was a pressure cooker, and I was victim of that. And so when I actually did leave my last position, I had 2 years of a golden parachute. So as long as I didn't go back to work in the industry, they would pay me. But I could go any place else I wanted. So I said I was going to take how often do you get a chance to take a month off, without worrying about where am I going to get a job, But so since I had that, I said I'm going to take a month off to my wife. I'm not even going to look or think about a job. It was 2 months and 6 months. And after a year, I said, I can't go back. I guess so we're going to do something else. But the one thing I learned there is decisions, I have a sign in my office that says a good plan executed today is better than the perfect plan executed tomorrow. And what it is do it. If you have an idea, don't wait for it necessarily, act on it, because the longer you wait, usually it suffers in a lot of things. So if you have something, be prudent, but don't wait, do it. Do 10 things. If 7 of them are right and 3 of them wrong, that's pretty good. Then go on again. So it's not to be afraid to make decisions. And also I would say not necessarily to trust everybody at face value in some of these companies, because you hear a lot of good things. They promise wonders and they deliver blunders. And so we were careful about that stuff too. Well, the Red Sox own the building at Fenway Park. That was a 2-year, 120-page lease that took us 2 years, a year and a half to get through, paragraph by paragraph, with their lawyers. That was torturous. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But we had lawyers do that. I never negotiated a lease for a retail space in my life, so I had lawyers. We had lawyers who did that. And so I wish I could give you a more thorough answer, but no clue, except the lawyers did it, we paid them, and that was that.
Are you considering expanding beyond
Yeah, our goal is to have 10 in 5 years. Jerry's contract with the Red Sox is 5 more years, at least, and then he could probably go to another one. But in case he gets fired, we need 10 restaurants in 5 years, more or less. And then at that point, it's the issue: do you keep them or do you sell them off? As an exit strategy. So, and we're looking at Providence, Chelmsford, Massachusetts, and I think in June of 2013, we'll probably be across from the Burlington Mall in Burlington. The good part about it is, frankly, it's investors. So it isn't so much as as long as you deliver to them. We had a hard time finding investors for the first one. We had them, then the whole economy crashed, and we lost them all. We lost a year, we found more, but now they're coming to us because we have a very good top line, and our profit margin at the bottom is exceptionally high for restaurant groups. So now we're getting investors who are coming to us, which is a much different than it was when we first started. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
We heard about the other entrepreneurs, how they raised their capital online. How did you guys initially?
There's a thing out there called AngelSoft, and like the woman there was saying. I did a video, put a business plan and all that, and I think I paid $420, I think it was something like that. And you put it on AngelSoft, and every angel investor or every VC out there goes there, and they see you, or they, and they're interested or not. We got a little bit out of that, but not a lot. But what we did was just went out and we hired someone to raise capital. And through their network, we found several investors who put in over $500,000 each on our way to that $5 million. And so that's how we got it. And our deal with the Red Sox expired on July 15th. If we went by that, we weren't going to get it. And it was July 17th. We had no money. None. So the deal really had already fallen apart. But then one investor stepped forward with a lot of it, and we somehow resurrected it at the midnight hour. So we got out by the skin of our teeth, So. Okay. Anything else? Whoever asked the question, if you want to grab an autograph, score. Okay. And the last thing is that this comes from the Remy Report archives. I'll leave you with a smile. The Red Sox are struggling this year, and this photo here got us more reactions than any other photo. Every day we put a photo up there, but this one here got us more reactions than any other one we ever had. So there you go. So congratulations to the winners tonight. You are entrepreneurs. I am not. We were very lucky to have Jerry as a partner. I've made mistakes that ended up being okay because of his popularity. So thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak here tonight. Thank you.
Well, contrary to what he might say, I think he is an entrepreneur, and it sounds like he's done a pretty good job in making the business and Jerry Remy's a success. Thank you for that presentation, and I know the rest of us, but I thoroughly enjoyed what you had to say. The one thing that he said about entrepreneurs is that I thoroughly agree with. I agree with all of it. But the first thing he said was that the entrepreneurs are risk takers. That is obviously true, and the people we're honoring tonight are exemplary of that, risk takers. And I congratulate you all for your success. It is now time for the presentation of these awards. Mr. Richard Bassett is a financial advisor with J. Marshall Associates and a previous award presenter for this ceremony. Richard is an active member in the community and a regular volunteer for the school system. We welcome Richard as our award presenter. Richard.
Thank you very much, Bill. Every year that I get asked to do this, it really means a lot, not only to me, but our firm. Our firm was started by a gentleman who's been in Fall River for about 35, 40 years, has always had the opportunity to move out, but something keeps him here, and it's people like BCC, Jack, Bill, Jeannie. That's what he really, really enjoys about the community. So let's get to it. There's 3 categories this year. The first category is Developing Entrepreneur, nominated by the Seed Corporation. Lisa and Randy Arnofsky own Restoration Massage in Assonet. Lisa and Randy of Restoration Massage, Inc. in Assonet for the ACE Developing Award, Entrepreneur Award. Lisa and Randy are 50-50 owners of the company and a dynamic husband and wife team, which I think is something we all can learn from. We've dedicated themselves to developing and growing their business. Lisa is the day-to-day, hands-on no pun intended, service provider, and Randy is the behind-the-scenes financial guy and ever-important support system for his wife. The company was formed in early 2008, and after significant renovation to their leased space, opened for business in December of 2008. Seed Corporation provided technical assistance and financing to the Arnofskys for their startup venture. Restoration Massage is conveniently located off Route 24 in Assonet. Randy and Lisa transformed a vacant residential home into a tranquil retreat for anyone seeking rest and relaxation, something I think we could all use, especially after some of those Red Sox games. The practice has grown from a small staff of 2 to 7 today, and they are again ready to expand. Under the capable hands of Lisa and their 3 additional therapists, clients can choose from a number of 30, 60, or 90-minute massages treatments, including relaxation, deep tissue, sports, myofascial, Swedish, and Reiki. Restoration Massage also offers couple massages, pregnancy massages, and is also handicap accessible with electric tables. A special treat is a relax night for a group of up to 8 people, which include 20-minute of rest-guided meditation and individual, fully clothed, 8 people in a room, fully clothed, massage at no cost. This provides an opportunity to tour the facility, enjoy a short treatment, and learn more about massage therapy and the benefits it brings to the mind and body. Actually, I think it's something we're going to think about sending some of our clients to. Residents of Berkeley for 20-plus years, Lisa and Randy are fixtures in the area and are committed to the community and giving back. For the past 2 years, Lisa and her staff have gone into both Berkeley schools during National Teachers Week and provided their service free of charge. They have also attended 24 local road races to date, providing services at no cost to runners or bikers before and after events. Not only are they entrepreneurs, they're good marketers. Lisa has donated her services to the Berkeley seniors and participated in area fundraisers for scholarships or families in need. In addition, the Arnofskys have hosted classes from the Salter School in Fall River as part of the school's business curriculum for students to tour their facility and learn about entrepreneurship and the highs and lows that go along with it. Without further ado, let's give a big hand to Lisa and Randy Arnofsky, the winners of the Developing Entrepreneur Award. Thank you. Great job, guys. It's always interesting when a financial advising firm can learn something from a massage therapist about marketing. Very good. Very good. Joe will hear about it. Next up is the Cornerstone Entrepreneur, nominated by Sue Thompson. The Cornerstone Award is very important in the community because that's a business that's been around, it's established. We know and generally trust them. And this young lady is certainly no different. Evelyn Faye Betancourt, the owner of Faye's Restaurant. Evelyn was raised working in the family restaurant business since she was a young girl. She assisted her mother in the family business, Faye's Naughty Pine in the north end of New Bedford, and became the sole owner in 1983 after her mother retired. This occurred at a time when female entrepreneurs were hesitant to venture into the ownership of a business. 12 years later, Evelyn was forced to make a tough decision as to whether or not to open a new restaurant, as the building that Faye's Naughty Pine was located in was up for sale. She recognized the challenge and risk that would lie ahead due to tough economic times and the strong competition she would face. However, Evelyn marched forward and opened the local favorites, Faye's Restaurant in Dartmouth, Mass. Like the earlier speaker said, risk. This woman is the true definition of an entrepreneur. In keeping with family tradition, Evelyn purchased a building and completely renovated it from the ground up. She expanded the business from pizza and pasta to a full-course menu. Due to Evelyn and her strong leadership, Faye's Restaurant has now been open for 14 years. Something to think about. Evelyn Betancourt is Faye's. You can usually find Evelyn chatting it up with all of her customers, all the while making sure staff are keeping pace and the operation is running smoothly. If not in view, one can regularly hear her customers ask, "Is Evelyn here?" She loves her customers and treats them like family, and they feel the same way. It is all about family and friends at Fays. Evelyn is very active in the community. Personally, she has served as the board of director at the Schwartz Center for Children for 12 years. She's extremely generous in supporting numerous groups in the area. She has sponsored many fundraisers for nonprofit charities and local schools. Evelyn has managed to be a successful entrepreneur, providing great service to her customers, maintaining efficient staff, and presenting top quality food. Without further ado, let's welcome Evelyn Betancourt, the owner of Fays Restaurant, the winner of this year's Cornerstone Entrepreneur Award. You're welcome. Very welcome. Next up is the Benevolent Entrepreneur Award, nominated by the MSBDC. Unfortunately, Maureen Sylvia Armstrong, the owner of Sylvia & Company Insurance, cannot be here tonight, and I cannot think of a more appropriate reason for someone who's nominated for the Benevolent Entrepreneur Award. She is actually at another fundraiser for the benefit for Bishop Stang. So, I mean, if she doesn't deserve this award, I don't know who does. Maureen Sylvia Armstrong leads this successful insurance company serving South Coast residents for 3 generations. Under her leadership, Sylvia & Company has been recognized as one of the top 100 led businesses in the state and is one of the top 30 insurance agencies of its size in the country. The company has been certified as a woman-owned business enterprise with the State Office of Minority and Women Business Assistance, has received the prestigious 5-Star Agency Award designation by the Massachusetts Association of Insurance Agents, reflecting its commitment to consistently provide superior knowledge, service, and value to each client. Sylvia & Company Insurance Agency, Inc. combines years of experience with leading-edge products to provide exceptional service and value to its customers. Along with insurance and risk management services for business and individuals, their product offerings includes employee benefit design, implementation, as well as financial planning services and investment products. At the Sylvia Group, they recognize the importance and the value of volunteerism and community service. This commitment can be seen in their agency tagline, which is trusted advisors dedicated to our clients and community. Over 50% of their employees volunteer their time for an enormous number of community groups, events, and organizations, showing you that it's not only Evelyn, it's a top-down commitment. All of this is led by Maureen Sylvia Armstrong, who is active in multiple organizations and initiatives. Let me note a few. She was founder and fundraiser for the Ocean Explorium, has held leadership positions at the New Bedford Chamber of Commerce, coached youth baseball and basketball, runs food drives for local food pantries, sits on numerous boards including Leadership South Coast and South Coast Hospital Group. She also was named the Standard Times 2008 South Coast Woman of the Year. Maureen Sylvia Armstrong epitomizes the definition of ACE's benevolent entrepreneur. With humanity and grace, she serves her clients, employees, and community and leads us all by example. Please welcome Melinda Ailes, who will be accepting the award on behalf of Maureen Sylvia Armstrong. Thank you very much, ladies.
One more time, applause for our award winners tonight. Now, before I release you all, I have one more thank you to make. This individual is a great friend of ACE. He is here every year. Those of you who have been here before have seen him. In fact, he's standing to my left, the man in black who has been taking our pictures. Time Stop Studios production. Raphael is an entrepreneur. I thank him very much for what he does for ACE in the many years he's been associated with this organization. And please put your hands together for Raphael. Having said that, the servers are waiting. There's some delicious food and some refreshing drink and some good conversation to be had. I thank you all for coming, and we're going to take all of your names and send you notices for next year. Thank you very much.